DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
We should be. There we are. And hang on a sec. We're live, but now...
Are we live?
We are live. And now we're officially live. We've got everything set up properly, and we are broadcasting to the multitudes of people who are joining us this morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another lovely day here in the big, great state of Minnesota where the sun is shining and it's always 70 and sunny.
Or here in Kansas City where it's sunny and going to be 98 today.
Yeah, exactly. It is one of those.
So, I was going to do this outside and I decided, no, you know what? I'm going to not do that.
You're going to stay inside, do the pants off version of the video. It'll be awesome. We don't need no pants when we're inside.
No, I can't tell you anything, can I?
No, I'm sorry.
You share every piece of information.
We got Howie and David and Nate in the YouTube chat room. Thank you for joining us this morning. We've got some folks jumping in on Jim's joining us on Facebook. We are broadcasting onto both mediums today. And we're going to be talking about, this is kind of a second to, and Ron, kind of give us the background on the whole, hey, DJ, get off my lawn.
So in 2013, I did a presentation at Vegas at Mobile Beat called Hey, DJ, Get Off My Lawn, which was basically what it was, is a presentation that conveyed a message that everything that we do within our industry today will somehow impact our industry tomorrow. I mean, just the way we behave, the way that we work against a common misperception about what it is that we do, that, what we do today, what we say today, how we behave today, how we perform today, all of these things are somehow going to impact our future, and how it's time to really kind of step back and take a look at what it is that we're doing and become more conscious of being more careful with our future, and instead of just kind of throwing it away, being very considerate of each other and how we proceed at this point. So that was the original concept behind it, and it was also to show the presentation actually opened with a video showing the varying age groups of DJs from 3-year-olds all the way up to, I believe the oldest in the video at the time was Cap Capella and Patrick Durham, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, just this huge age group of DJs that have brought this industry forward and will continue to bring this industry forward. So that's what it was about.
So I think if I remember correctly, Cap is not the oldest in it. There's a lady, I've seen a video, she's like 90 some years old.
Oh, wow.
And she's over in Europe, and she's doing mixes at senior events.
Well, and I don't deny what I was talking about was in that particular video for that was, but and also I think I actually used a video of another DJ that has to be, I never did find out his age, but he was also, I believe, from Europe as well. He had to be like 90 years old when he's playing music. It's always like, and people laugh, but this guy just loves his job so much, and this movement he's doing is in celebration of the work that he does.
And this is not where we're going today, but that's actually an interesting topic, and we're going to spend just a few seconds on this. Is I really think that's people talk about aging out of the DJ industry, and I don't think it's so much an aging out. It's just that when you lose that lack of excitement, that lack of enjoyment of playing music.
Right.
And I've had people talk about this where they're like, oh, I love music, but I'm just sick of people, what have you. And I don't get that. I think that the whole energy of DJing has got to obviously come from the music. I mean, that's what we do. And you get to that point where the music isn't moving you, you're moving you here. I think that's kind of, and that I've been really working on that, because as I'm getting older and such, people are asking, it's like, so how much longer are you going to DJ? And
welcome to my world.
Exactly. I'm sure you've heard this more than I, and I don't mean that in any way a negative way, but people are asking that, especially people who are not of our industry. They're like, yeah, you're getting to be close to 50 now. You can't do high schools anymore. You can't do this. And it's like, well, okay, I still do high school dances, and these kids keep coming back. It's not because I'm giving them candy in my van, which I do, but that's another video, another channel. It's just that passion for the music side of it is I think what drives. And so many people, he celebrates it in that video that I've seen one I think you're referring to. He is celebrating every time he's playing music, because he's so much into it. And yet you get so many people who are like, oh my gosh, here we go, YMCA again.
But I think I agree and I disagree with you. I think more importantly, where you're going to get burned out is not so much about the music. It's as if you can't continually make connections with the people you're working with. That to me is what it's all about. It has nothing to do with the music or my love for music, because the music I'm going to be playing at a wedding reception, it doesn't necessarily reflect my taste anyway. It's whether I can continue to connect with the people that I'm working with. Do they want to still work with me? Are they excited about working with me as I am about working with them? Can I still create something different, something unique, something special for them? That's, I think, is going to be more of a determination as to whether or not I'm going to get burned out or not. If I continually work for people that don't respect what I do, that want to put me in a corner or far away from a dance floor and just in general don't respect me as a professional, then I'm going to get burned out really, really quick. But if I can continue to make connections with the people that I work with, if I can continue to help them, if I can make a difference in their lives and in the lives of their guests, then it's not as easy to get burned out, I think, from what we do. But yeah, I could see if you allow it to become a grind, you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, then it's going to be real easy to get burned out. But that's true in any profession. That's not just true in this one.
And allowing it to become a grind. I mean, and again, I'm going to flash back to that gentleman or the lady that does the senior dances in her 90s. In either case, there's just an excitement level, and I don't know if it would be a youthful excitement that basically, like little kids, they can watch the same cartoon over and over again and they're like, woo, every time. If it's that or how, or maybe they're just really good actors, but they seem to have a genuine excitement about performing, and even though it's the same song over and over.
That's and here, think about it this way: it may have absolutely nothing to do with the song. What they may be reacting to is what they're seeing on a dance floor, is the joy of the people on the dance floor. That's what they're responding to. It probably has absolutely nothing to do with the song, but it has to do with how they see the people respond to the music that they're playing, rather than the song that they're playing.
And that actually gets into an area in which, again, we're still tangenting. Sorry, you guys are just going to go with this. But that actually goes into an area where this is one of those little secret areas that DJs are hugely uncomfortable with, that they don't talk about. I've never seen a seminar on this, but the DJs who are reacting to what's coming off the dance floor. And when you have people trying to engage you from the dance floor, it's amazing how many introvert DJs just absolutely that's why we're seeing facade sales at such a high level, is that they're like, as soon as the bridesmaid comes up and says, yeah, all right, DJ, you're kicking, and that kind of thing. And they're like, the whole wanting to have a wall. I mean, I can rock in my corner and you can do your thing out there, but if we start to collide, unless I have you come and walk around here and turn off that wild, exciting person and then ask me nicely, it just doesn't happen. And I've had DJs that have brought that up, and I know DJs who talk about being so uncomfortable when the crowd engages them.
Wow. I guess I've never met that DJ, because in this industry
we both know we're not going to drop names, but there's quite a few that and that's interesting, because you would think that in our profession that that DJs are more of that extrovert, that they're going
to
be
you would think the ego would drive what
exactly.
we do. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why somebody that would be an introvert would be into doing this anyway. I mean, that just seems a little odd. I don't know. Like I said, if I know somebody like that, then I don't know who it is because I've never met them. But
well, and we'll go to an opposite extreme on that, and we'll name a name. A guy like Jake Palmer. We both know Jake. Jake is one of the writers of this Jockey News. Jake is one of these guys that he would be, even if he's standing behind his booth, behind a facade, and there's only this much of him visible, Jake is still the kind of guy that somehow would be leading the party with only his eyeballs. Somehow he'd make that party happen with that. But he's an extrovert, and he is that guy. I've got a DJ friend who lives just down the road from me here, and he's way not that guy. He's a good technical DJ. He can read a room and he can play great music. But if the crowd was depending on him to be up on the stage, it's just not going to happen. So anyway, so it's just an interesting thing, and the longevity. Jake's been in this a long time, and he's still going strong. This gentleman down the road has been in this. He started, I think, a year or two after I did, and he's still going strong in what he's doing. So I don't know if one way or the other is obviously the more extrovert, more outgoing person would be. But anyway,
yeah, I'd be curious to know if hear from somebody that is an introvert. Send me an email or something and say, hey, tell me about why you're here and the struggles that you have or what keeps you involved. I'd be curious to know, because like I said, I don't know that I've ever. Most of the DJs I know are pretty outgoing and are not afraid to be a part of the spotlight, but I don't know everybody. So
yeah. So anyway, that was just some random thoughts here this morning. Now we'll get into today's show.
Yeah, let's get back on the path.
Switch gears and we'll get to it back.
People should know though by now that anytime you and I are on together, I don't know about any of your other guests, but I know that when you and I are on together, who knows? I mean, we go all over the place. So
it can
get over it, man. Get over it.
Go in different directions.
Right. Okay. So what do you want to talk about, John?
So let's go. We kind of set the stage of what Get Off Your Lawn 1 was about. Now, what are we going to be talking about today in part 2? Well,
I think what I want to talk about during this podcast is that there recently has been some talk about 10 days or so ago. There was some question was raised about the integrity of some of the individuals within our community. And I call ourselves a community because I think the DJ industry is huge. I mean, it's just absolutely huge. I don't even know that you get to get an accurate count of how many people are actually involved in this industry. But I do know that we have a community. And the reason I say community is because look at something like Mobile Beat. Mobile Beat draws in somewhere in the area, let's say 1,000 to 1,200 people for a conference. That is probably 1/10 of 1% of this entire industry. I mean, who knows? I mean, 1,200 people. This industry probably has 12,000, maybe 120,000. I don't know how many DJs are out there. And as I said, I don't know that you can get an accurate count.
Well, I think we should use the rest of the show to count. 1, 2.
Yeah, if you're a member, then just leave a comment. We'll see how many comments we get.
17 in the chat. Anyway, okay, continue.
But the point is that in a community, when you attack one, it's an attack on all. And when you a call to help by one is also a call to help by all. That 1,000 or 1,200 people that show up on Mobile Beat is a very special group. And not just that group. I don't want to single out Mobile Beat, but people that show up to ARM DJs, people that used to show up to the Disc Jockey News or the MAP DJ conferences or to any of the conferences that we have been a part of. DJ Times is coming up as well. Those people that attend these workshops, these people that attend these conferences are all a part of a community. They want nothing more than to see our industry advance and to see our profession behave in a professional manner. And it disturbs me when, especially so many people that I've known over the years that have helped me and I know have helped other DJs along the way. Really, I find it bothersome when someone puts the integrity of these people in question without, just kind of throwing out a random thought about, are these people being honest with you? Mm-hmm. And I think, and it's odd because it's coming from an individual for whom I have a tremendous amount of respect and always have. So, I think today what I want to try to do is I want to talk about how, if you doubt someone's integrity, first off, how you can find out more about these individuals. Also, I want to talk about all the people that I know that I think are none of us. Sorry, getting a little passionate here. I've heard the term leader thrown around, and leader is a great term, but it's not a term that I think anybody who has been called a leader ever calls themselves. Leader is a terminology, is a title that is usually given to other people. As an example, I consider you, John, to be a leader. You would never. I've known you for a lot of years. And you would never, ever come on this show or any place else and say, you know what, I'm a leader. No, you wouldn't do that. I think you're a leader. Whether you think you are or not, I believe that you are a leader. I believe you're a leader because of the constant work that you put in with Disc Jockey News. I believe in advancing our education through that publication. I believe that you're a leader because of the things I've seen you do, both with Map DJ and then with the Disc Jockey News Conference. I see you every day online behaving as the leader, and therefore I'm going to call you a leader. But again, I don't think that you would call yourself that. That's a title that's handed out. So to say, people call me a leader, but I don't really, believe it because. Come on. That's not the point. The point is that if people consider you a leader, then you should lead by example. At least that's my opinion.
Just along that, I think that's a great phrase, and I want to emphasize that lead by example, whether it's in your family life or in that leading by example and living and acting with a high level of integrity, I think is so critical and so overlooked in all aspects of life.
Right. That's why I think it's a disservice to go online and post anything about what other people are doing wrong. Whether you think they're not charging enough, whether you think that their setup looks like crap, whether and I'm sorry, can I say crap on the air?
No, you can't say crap.
Oh, then I won't say crap again.
Good. Keep crap out of it.
As long as I will. But if their setup looks terrible, you post all this junk. Why not just in the amount of time it takes you to post a negative thing, you could read a book. You could sign up for a workshop. You could go to a conference. You could go online and find positive things to help you with your business. Rather than doing that, lead by example. If you want people to charge more, then you yourself should charge more. If you can show other people, hey, I make more money, I'm able to make more money in the same market, then other people will say, well, how are they doing that? But you're not going to get people to follow you by calling them names or calling them out. It's just not going to happen. Excuse me.
And I think you see a lot of that calling names and calling out on people, especially on these Facebook chat groups that are wanting to, create a name for themselves, and they want to have followers. They want people who will, follow me on Facebook, go to my fan page, whatever. And you definitely see that there's different methodologies of how, and it seems that the negative approach is the first avenue that most go to, instead of going with the positive and being a resource for people or to be lifting up those around them. It's like, well, if I bash everyone around me down, then I must look like the greatest one and everyone will follow me. It seems to be the mentality online.
Well, and the more people that agree with you, the only reason I see a lot of people post bad stuff is because they want to just see how many people agree with them. And it's amazing how many people post bad stuff while they're doing an event. And then other people that are doing an event are also chiming. It's like, why are you not focused on the event? The event is the number one thing. That thing that's bothering you today, if it's not bothering you tomorrow, then you won't have a need to post about it. If it's still bothering you tomorrow, then post, for crying out loud. But there's no reason to do it at that moment. There's no reason to be knee-jerk on this thing.
I always just envision myself just at the wedding there. Wait a second. We're not going to start the first dance yet. I've got to post about what the caterer just did. Just a second.
Yeah.
How do you spell crap? Okay.
I talked about at Armed DJs recently, I did my presentation of improv for wedding pros, and I talk about how at an event, when things don't go right, people go online and they post about how things are not going right rather than trying to improve how things are going. And it just it baffles me. I don't understand that way of thinking, but it is what it is. And as I said, I think the main thing to learn here is that you cannot get people, you're not setting an example by doing that. Number one. Number two is that you can't get people to follow if you're going to call them names and call them out. Lead by example. The next day, hey, you know what? The situation arose at my event last night. Here's what I did to handle it. Here's how I fixed it. Here are the people I can attribute my knowledge to.
Mm-hmm.
I learned from these individuals. For me, it goes back to 2001, Mark Farrell. Presenting on Getting What You're Worth, which was the beginning of a tremendous movement all the way across this industry. And you got to give Mark Farrell a lot of credit for that. That's everybody, that movement went and it grew, because up to that point, I don't know that how many people really looked at what we did as a profession. And actually, Mark, all due respect, I'm going to go back a little bit further. But actually, I would say maybe it started with Mike Marnicoso and Mobile Beat, because without Mike, Mark wouldn't have had the vehicle. So, but Mike saw that that there was a possibility of being able to make a difference in this industry, and so that's why that's why he put together the Mobile Beat conference. Is probably one reason.
I think so. And let's look at that just for a second. Is prior to the first Mobile Beat, there wasn't a DJ event that really focused on mobile DJs. At that time, you had DJ Expo that was not strictly, but mainly for kind of club and bedroom DJs. You weren't getting a ton of mobile DJs. You were getting East Coast mobile DJs, but there really wasn't the mobile world present. So when Mike Bonacorso came to Vegas and they put together the first Mobile Beat show, this was really to a point for some people starting to legitimize, the beginning of the legitimizing of the business in the mobile world, that, hey, you had multi-system companies, larger multi-systems that were full-time. There was no question about it. But there were very, very few mom and pop type operations out there that were full-time. So when Mobile Beat came out and said, hey, there's a convention for mobile DJs, that was an eye-opener for many people. And then, now we'll continue on with Mark Farrell.
Well, and it took time even for Mike's conference to grow legs and to go, I think, because if you've never read the book A Different Spin, please go get it. Mike is going to love that I'm promoting it, because I think he had like 10 copies made recently, and
of a second.
So now 100 people are going to say, I want that book. He's Ron. So, but yeah, buy the book, because it tells the story of our industry and how the conference started, and where, and it even goes on into where I'm going with Mark Farrell, and that is talking about how much the DJ is worth. And that message was extremely valuable. But what was lacking out of that message for me, and probably for a lot of other DJs, I can't imagine I was alone, was here's what you're worth, but there was no message of how to convey your value. That's where it hung me up for a couple of years, because I understood, but I didn't get that. I remember going out and wanting to raise my fees, and people would say, well, why are you so much more than everybody else? Well, it's because that's what I'm worth. I thought I could get away with that.
Not so much.
Yeah. People don't. And I even told the story once about how I had somebody one time say, why do you charge so much more than everybody else? And I said, I have insurance. And they still didn't book me.
No, that's
so yeah. So so then it became a process of, okay, so now what? How do I continue to learn? And that's where I met Peter Mary. Peter Mary was the president of the ADJ at the time and was going around the country, and he was trying to get small groups of DJs to join his local chapters. And he did a presentation called Better Bookings Bring Better Consultations. And Peter, if you're listening, I got it right. And because of that, I always
below the screen.
I always screw that title up. But anyway, it was through that conference or through that presentation, I learned how to convey my value. And then people like Randy Bartlett come along who show you, here, you can add this and you can become worth even more. And you've got, I mean, I have a list that I tried to create this morning. And here's the thing. I just complained about a video that was done a week ago with no names being mentioned. And the danger of not mentioning names, especially when you're calling people out, is that you leave the listener to guess at who you're talking about. And that's just not right. It's not fair to anybody. The danger of actually having a list is that I might leave somebody off. So if I leave you off this list, I'm going to just tell you right up front, I love you, and it was not intentional. But let's go with Scott Favor. Scott Favor has got to be one of the most giving individuals you will ever meet. The guy doesn't have a workshop. He doesn't have a book. He doesn't have. The guy just gives. I mean, if you have a question about your business, or especially when it comes to doing activities at an event, Scott has always answered the phone when I've called him. Jim Cerrone. Jim Cerrone is another guy. Jim, I think, has a CD, a DVD. But regardless, he has the perfect host, and he does an incredible job with that presentation. Is he posting on there right now?
Yeah. Peter Mary, better consultations bring better bookings.
Isn't that what I said?
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
I don't either. Randy Bartlett, John Young. Here's a flash from the past. One of my greatest mentors, Dude Walker, who actually got me writing for you back in 2009. I looked earlier, but Dude Walker, I mean, Dude was a tremendous influence on my career. Big Daddy Sean McKee. I saw Big Daddy present at Armed DJs recently, and I've never seen him present before. And I got to tell you, the love that exudes from this man, the passion. You were talking earlier about this 90-some-year-old woman. I can see Big Daddy at 102, still, posting about feeling the love and doing this, and he'll be still singing karaoke. The end of Armed DJs had a climax to it with everybody in the room, every 160 DJs all singing "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. It was incredible. Mike Walter, who just wrote a book about music, incredible. Joe Bunn, Bill Herman, Drax. Oh my gosh, Drax is always giving. Let's see. Everybody who's ever written for Mobile Beat or for Disc Jockey News. Cap Capella, I met in 2005, and he's always remained a tremendous influence in everything that I've done. And actually, he was the guy that talked me into buying a Bose sound system, which brings me to my next individual, which is Mark O'Leary. He is a local DJ, and we call ourselves competitors. We're not competitors. We help each other. Robbie Britton. Oh my gosh. Robbie Britton has given 10 years of his life to Armed DJs and thought this year was going to be the last, but yet he's going to do it again. Armed DJs 11 is coming up. Dave Lewis from Hawaii. I mean, these are all individuals who, some of them may have something to sell, but if you have relationships with these individuals, Peter Mary has a stack of DVDs that he'll sell. But I can almost guarantee you that if you have a relationship with Peter, if you actually take time to get to know him and let him to get to know you, he's going to be willing to help you. But you shouldn't disparage someone because they have a product to sell, because they invested in themselves to learn what it is that they do. And when you go to college, you've got to buy books. If you go to any college, the teachers are going to teach you, but you still have to buy the books. And the same thing's true in what we do. I know a lot of these people have products to sell, but that's not the main reason why they're doing it. If it were, they wouldn't donate their time to present on a stage. Do you realize it takes, for a 45-minute presentation on any stage, if you do it correctly, the presenter has invested somewhere in the area of about 80 hours in a 45-minute presentation between writing, editing, rehearsing again, doing it in front of a small group of audience. Don't disparage these people. They have given of their time, and they're not asking you to, if you don't want to buy their stuff, don't buy it. Not everybody's going to have something that is going to be of value to you individually. Yep. Not everybody wants to do the Audio Amazing Love Story workshop. Maybe they want to do Mark Farrell's version of a love story workshop. And that's awesome. I'm happy for them. But if they want to do mine, that's good too. This world is full of variety. If we were all alike, then God, we'd all be just like John Young, and imagine how boring that would be.
No kidding. My wife thinks
we would have 12 children, and all right. So I'm sorry, but it just really bugs me when I see people that just don't these kind of things, because the reason this is so important to me is that I believe that once you instill paranoia in individuals, then you're being divisive. You're pulling us apart rather than bringing us together. Lead by example. Lead by example. Lead by being appointed one instead of by finding 100 people to declare you one. So I'm sorry. So John, any questions?
Well, no, just getting the links for Peter's information out there, since you've been talking about the stack of DVDs. So we got those out there, and everyone can hit those. Those are in the...
Well, that wasn't my purpose.
Well, we're going to do it. We're going to...
Okay, all right.
We put them in both.
That was not my purpose. Put everybody's DVDs out there. Then
I wish if I had more links, I'd put them in the description here. So we'll if we can get more here as we go. So we made a list of some of these are very close personal friends, but really a lot of influential.
There's people that are operating under the radar in here. Let me, I'm going to be honest with you. I have it pulled up here, but I got to get to it. I posted on DJ Sharing Concepts and Big Ideas. I said, tell me about the people that have been influential in your life. And these are all people that kind of work under the radar. You don't hear about them much, but I know a good many of them, and I believe most of them to be genuinely honest people that want, just like everyone else, they want to make a positive difference in their lives. Lucas Hendricks was mentioned, as was Michael Durham. Stu Chisholm talks about Mark Farrell being his number one influence. Rich Lang talks about Brian Kelm, Brian Harris, Michael Durham, Patrick Durham. Patrick Durham is also a tremendous influence on me. Stephen Jez, Peter Mary, Bill Herman, Chris Johnson, Mark Farrell, Rebecca. All of these people have been great influences. Mike Bonacosa was mentioned by Rebecca Farrell. John Ross, Andy Ebon. Gosh, John Ross. I can remember. Can you remember seeing John Ross back at some of the very first Mobile Beat conferences?
Oh, yes, exactly.
I remember seeing him. Andy Ebon. I mean, Andy has been a tremendous influence on me, although he's not DJ, but he's within the wedding industry. Chris Johnson and Jimmy Hussey. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is it Hussey, or do you know? Hussey?
I'm not familiar with that person.
Okay. And see, these are all people that maybe you should get to know. Michael Durham talks about Mark and Rebecca and Peter and Bill and Mitch and Ron and Jim and Randy and Vicky and Aldo, and the list goes on. I mean, there are so many. Rick Hill is mentioned. These are people that are up and comers that in a year or two you may even see them presenting on a Mobile Beat stage because they have something of value to offer. And every one of these people that are mentioned, part of it is going to be their knowledge, but it also is going to be part of it's going to be without even knowing all of these individuals. I'm going to say that a lot of it's going to be their passion for helping other people, for their passion for seeing the industry move forward and seeing it move forward in a positive way. So, these are, anybody that offers you assistance Don't assume that everything is going to be that you're going to get ahead simply on your own laurels. You need mentors. The thing there's a lot of, you were talking earlier about there's a lot of online groups now where you can go and get information. And the thing I caution people on. All right, so here's the old guy coming out and, hey DJ, get off my lawn.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've been throwing a lot of flowers and roses. Now we need.
All right, so here's the old guy. We're getting lazy. We're lazy. We are. I'm doing a presentation for Wedding MBA. See, I'm plugging on creativity, and the thing is that we are not exercising our own creative muscles. We have a question. We have a need. What do? We go online, we post, and we wait for the answer that suits us the most, rather than thinking things through and trying to come up with an answer of our own. I would encourage these people that run all these groups, and I know I hope, whether they listen to me or not, I would encourage every group to set up a rule. Look, if you're going to come onto our group and ask a question, then you have to provide at least something. It's like doing an improv scene. When an improviser steps on the stage, he has to have, or she has to have, some idea of something. You take a risk and you say something. You do something. Same thing's true with these groups. Make these people, when they come, make a DJ when they come onto your group, make them come with an idea. I need to do this. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Maybe it'll change with suggestions and stuff, but at least force them to think. Force people to be creative. And here's another reason for that is that we are turning in. Albert Einstein says, I fear the day that technology replaces human interaction, because we will have a society of idiots. We're getting close to that, I think, in a lot of ways, not just in this industry, but somebody asked me the other day, where do you see the DJ industry in 10 years? In 10 years, I don't even see DJs anymore. There won't be a need for them. There may be a need for a master of ceremonies, but I was talking to, who was it? We were talking about technology and how when you go to Disney, you get a magic band and it knows you can buy stuff with you. You can get in and out of your room. It's your park pass. I can see almost everybody in a few years coming into a wedding that has something similar to an iPhone. So the minute they walk through the door, some computer somewhere picks up what their favorite songs are, what their birth date are, what's their anniversary, all that stuff. And all of that is going to be programmed into the evening's festivities. Now, there still may need to be a master of ceremonies to keep things going. But as far as the music part of it, and here's why, it's because we think that somebody told us, just like somebody told us years ago that, hey, you can't imagine all your life. You have to grow up. Somebody is telling us now that brides and grooms want to do everything online. Who said that? Where did they get that information? How can they prove it? And if you want to go down that road of making everything accessible online without having that human interaction, then why would they want human interaction? Why would they feel a need to have a human at their event? If I can do all of this stuff online, why should I even invest in a human? There's no need for it. So you have to keep the human connection going. People that say millennials buy differently than what? Where did that come from? And who came up with that idea? I swear it was an editor for a wedding magazine. I come from a generation of dope smoking hippies, and that was going to run the world because of our anti-establishment ways. I'm no different than a millennial. And the reason I say that is that every human wants to feel loved, wants to feel valued, respected, wants to feel important, wants to feel valued. That doesn't change from generation to generation. So I say, let's start being, instead of going online, develop relationships with people that you can trust and that you can call up and you can talk to and you can say, hey, I have an idea. Will you brainstorm with me? Rather than trying to, you get 50 people that respond to you online, but how do you know any one of those individuals is right? without knowing who that individual is. And how do you know if that's going to be right for your situation? If it works for me does not necessarily mean it's going to work for you. Sorry. Okay. I'm back off my soapbox now.
You are, and you gave us about 15 seconds of what we need to focus on, which is how do we distinguish or differentiate between the posers and people who are legitimately worth our attention.
I think the way you do that is the same way that you do any other thing. It's like a bride would shop for a DJ.
So we're going to ask you which one will be the cheapest when we.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like a bride that really knows how to shop for a DJ would shop for a DJ, and that would be to check their credentials, look for them online. Where are they at online? Do they write for publications? Are they writing do they write blog articles? Are they investing in sharing information, or are they just is every time you come in contact with them, they want your money? I think, it's buyer beware in everything that you do. I walked into a America's Best eyeglass place the other day because I need new eyeglasses. And, they had great reviews online. But I walked into this place, the girl that greeted me with a yawn. She handed me a clipboard with a form. They say, "Here, fill this out and bring it back." I'm listening to some of the people working in the store. One particular young lady that was a sales associate there, very loudly complaining about how she could not find some particular information about something. And then she went to the files, and she came out of the files, and she's complaining about how something was misfiled. And I mean, everybody in the store can hear her. I looked at their frames, and I'm trying on frames, and it's like nobody has ever cleaned the glass on the frames. I mean, it's like sticky, gooey, icky. And I was there for an eye exam, and I went to the lady and I go, "You know what? I'm out of here." I mean, first impressions should matter to everybody. If it doesn't feel right, then don't do it, for crying out loud. So, trying to take a breath, John. Give you a moment.
Yeah, no, I'm just okay, so Howie's got a question here for you, okay. Ron, and this one's I'll give you a second to think about it before you respond. But Howie's wondering, basically, I'll read the question verbatim. Ron, do you think you were part of the problem calling out the video creator and John by saying you were disappointed in them because of a difference of opinion?
I didn't call out the video creator. I just said that there was a video that was created.
Yeah, well, I think Howie's referring to he was following the thread and such, and basically that it could have been handled in private.
No, I mean, okay, sure, it could have been handled in private, but that's not the way it was started. If you had an issue with somebody, why didn't you handle it in private in the first place, rather than posting a video about it?
And I think, if you guys didn't get a chance to see the thread, it was a thread on my Facebook page where I had shared the video that we're talking about that was put out, and Ron had a difference of opinion on than what was expressed in the video to a point, and I didn't. Yes, I could have. Somebody had said, "Well, you could have stopped that earlier," and it's like that wasn't beneficial because people need to see that there are two sides. You've got what was shared in the video was calling into question some of the people who are proclaiming to be leaders in the industry and who have set themselves up. And I can name over the years at least a dozen off the top of my head who are not the people that Ron has talked about. These are people that come into the industry and they have something to sell, and they will put together a whatever brochure at the time, Facebook page or not Facebook page, but a website. And these people are touting themselves as the next leader in teaching you sales and this or that, the other thing. They sell you something and then they have nothing standing behind it. They don't have the credentials that Ron was referring to. So there's that side of it. And then you have the side as Ron, and there's others who had also expressed that something that doesn't name names and something that doesn't point this out specifically is left to the interpretation of the viewer. And sometimes the viewer, you're going to interpret things through the way in which you want things to spin. So if if I'm upset with Ron because I was looking at Ron's stuff and I don't like what Ron said about his training, I may view it as this is something that would be negative towards Ron, because that's what my perception is going to narrow things. If I say don't like Jim Cerrone because he's too tall, and I'm just not happy with Jim Cerrone, I would have read this and listened to that video and said, oh, this is attacking Jim Cerrone. If I would have not liked that Mark Farrell, even though he's graying, has got better hair than 99% of us, I would have probably taken. So that was the part that I think that Ron and others were uncomfortable with, is that it's leading to the interpretation of the listener, and the listeners are going to have their own bias, and those bias are going to take this as justification for their action or inaction.
Well, and as I was trying to say, as a public posted video requires public response, but in defense of the poster, yes, I'm not going to deny that everybody in this business, that there are going to be people in this industry who cannot be trusted. That's true in any industry. But again, I think it comes back to buyer beware. And rather than going on a rant about bad things, why not post about the good? Why not talk about all the good that's been done in our industry since 2001? Because a lot of it, because of the people that I just mentioned. You know, we've had some great momentum in this industry of bringing people around. It's unfortunate that there's always going to be the cheap DJ. I'm sorry. Get over it. That's a way of life. And rather than fighting with the guy in your market that may be half your price, why not learn how to convey your value better? Why not learn how to become a better performer? Why not, why not do something that can move yourself forward rather than worrying about those other people? They're going to be there. Get over it. That's just the way it is. I quit worrying about those folks a long time ago. Are they bringing the entire industry down? I don't think that. I don't necessarily agree with that all these people are bringing the entire industry down. I think it's up to us personally to move ourselves forward instead of trying to worry about other people.
As Mike Bonacorso, I think, is with us here, and he just mentioned that one of the common things is that a lot of the people that you mentioned are the ones with us in the chat room today, and that is kind of alluding to one of the biggest issues, I think, with everything that we're talking about today, whether it was with the video that aired or even our things today, is we're talking about people who have given and leaders, and we're talking about this having an effect in the industry. And the reality is, and this is something even I have to remind myself, is that there's 100,000 people who are going to probably perform at a wedding this year across the United States. That's a number that a lot of people have thrown out at different media events and different things.
And yet 1,200 of them show up at a conference.
Exactly. And you take that 1,200 and maybe 10 times that, so let's go 12,000, know who any of these 20 people are that we've just talked about.
And that was going, and it's funny because you're reading my mind, because if anybody, you could ask 100 DJs who Mark Farrell is, and I bet you 5 of them would know. You could ask 100 DJs who Ron Ruth is, and I'm guessing you'd have a hard time finding a half a DJ that would know or even care who I am, or who Peter is, or who Bill Herman is, or any of these other individuals. It's just that's why I go back to what I said at the very top of this. We are a community. And we're a very strong community. And it's important for our community to stay together, because the only way we're going to advance this industry is if that community can remain intact. Yeah, we may not get other people. We're a tribe, so to speak. I mean, we're hanging out with people of like beliefs. I don't know if that's the right word of saying that, but the right way of saying that. But that's true. We're hanging out with people who believe what we believe. And that's good. That helps us. And that's going to help move us forward. We welcome anybody else that wants to join our group, but please don't pull our group apart for any reason. There's no reason for that. And I should also mention, just for Howie, look, I still have a tremendous amount of respect for the individual that posted that video. It just didn't agree with me. Mm-hmm. And I know it didn't agree with a lot of people from the thread I saw. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. It was definitely a. Mike Bonacorso just made a reference to a person here, so I need to
filter it.
Yeah. Well, no. I want to see this Milo. I'm just trying to. I'm gonna have to come back and read that. Whatever the reference he made to this person. Instead of saying I can't because, try saying how can I instead.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Peter Mary.
Yep. Yeah, and see, that's kind of funny because the other day, and I know, and I saw him post that the other day on a thread. He and I both responded to a DJ that was talking about how they couldn't do something, and there was all these DJs that were jumping in and offering all sorts of different ideas and stuff. And oh no, that won't work. That won't work. That won't work. This guy kept coming back with, I mean, I've never seen anything like this. So then eventually, I went on and I said, hey, look, here's the thing. I'm willing. Call me. I'll help you. Let's get together. Let's talk. Never heard a word. Peter jumped in and even offered his assistance. Guy never responded to Peter either. I mean, look, if your mentality is that nothing is going to help you, then guess what? Nothing's going to help you.
And I think that you're also getting you were circling back to your opening statement that DJs are lazy. Yeah. And I would rather get online and type in a quick wah, cry, complain, piece of garbage that I'm going to put
because you're going to find people that agree with you so easily,
and they'll justify that. Yep, I knew it. I knew there was no way I could charge to go and take pictures up the bride's dress. I knew that wasn't going to work, and now these 7 people here said, and then that's exactly what they're going to look for that. It's that, right. And I think that's when you mentioned earlier the idea that with this technology, it's really making it so we're going to have a generation or a world full of idiots. And I'm paraphrasing here. Just want to go make it a little stronger.
Einstein said that.
Yeah. I think that concept, really what the world that we live in now, because of things like Facebook and such, we have now given a stage to all of those idiots. Before, they were stupid enough and they kind of sat in their own little world and they did their own little thing and they weren't able to be out there and seen as much as they are today.
Well, and imagine, John, I mean, remember back when forums first started, you could be anonymous on a forum. It's a lot harder for that to happen on Facebook now. So, I mean, now you're just saying, I want to be this way. I mean, and I want the world to know it, because you can't hide behind the anonymity that you used to be able to hide behind in the original forums, where people would go on and just be hateful, hateful stuff. I'm not saying, and I guess maybe I should, because I don't want to get in trouble with any of my friends, but I'm not saying that these forums are bad, that the Facebook groups are bad. I'm just saying that, I think that there needs to be a modicum of there just needs to be something in place that makes people think. Makes them go, at least come to me with an idea so I can help you with that with an idea.
But people hate to think. They don't want to think for themselves. And Ron, you just absolutely made the point for why the video was made, because it was made to have people think. Because if names were named, all of a sudden I don't have to think. I can just say, oh, well, that's that person. I don't know them, so I'm going to blow. Instead, it was there to make people think. It made them.
Yeah, but it was also very dangerous because it made people guess at who it was being addressed to, and that's not fair to anyone. That's not fair to a lot of people. And I mean, it's just that's not right. You can't. And I actually saw that happen on your thread, where there were people that started guessing at who this video was about, and that's a disservice. I mean, again, I go back to, there was no reason for the video to be made in the first place. If you want people to think, then talk about the good things that have happened and how other people can contribute to those good things to advance the good, rather than talking about what may or may not be a problem. In today's day, wait a minute. In today's day and world, I can assure you that if in my workshop, people didn't feel that they were getting their value, and if they came to me and said, Ron, I don't feel that we're getting value for what we paid, and I just ignored them, then I can almost assure you that word would get around really quickly. Same thing would be true with Peter's workshop or Mark Farrell's workshop or anybody's workshop, Bill Herman's workshop. It doesn't matter. If people feel that they've gotten taken advantage of, they're going to let the world know. I've not seen anybody out there talking about how someone took advantage of them. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I'm just saying it hasn't happened to the degree of making it into a video that leaves people to assume.
Well, and I think this is actually where Mike Bonacorso's reference to this Milo, and I'm not going to even try the last name, is that this is a person who is going to call out and to be able to point out, and maybe there's obviously a difference, but I think that Mike is referring to, you're talking about talking the positive, and basically we're doing this, and we're always promoting the positive, and sometimes there has to be someone who's basically going to be that watchdog, the Geraldo Rivera of the world. And not saying that was what that video was, but I think there's, as Mike's pointing out, that there's got to be someone who will point out that, that if it smells bad and it looks like poo and it feels like poo, it's probably poo type of a thing.
As long as you didn't say crap.
I didn't say crap, so we're okay. But you know that for those of you watching this video, we've got that fallback crap thing that we just, it's a comedian thing.
In improv, we call that a callback.
Yep,
so,
callback.
So yeah, I guess. I don't see. I like to think of myself as being fairly well attuned to what's going on, but I've not seen any of that. But kind of like the DJs you were talking about before, I don't know everything. So maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm leading too much of a sheltered life and living in a land of Oz. But I like. Yeah, but I like to believe. I like to believe that most of the people that I spoke about, and most of the people I know that I read that other people are talking about, are basically very honest and caring people that want nothing more than to make a positive difference in the lives of others and in our industry in general. And I think that once you start putting paranoia in people's heads, then you have people questioning the motive of everyone. I think that people have a way of revealing themselves rather quickly if they're anything less than being honest and forthright. I don't know. It's just the way I was raised.
Peter makes a statement here, referring to, they're discussing, and he says he brings up the guys who have never attended or have never been to a workshop, and
right.
This is an area in which I personally have issues with, is that there are a few DJs out there who have created educational material, and they have never attended an education. They've never been to a DJ convention, and Mike Bonacorso probably could point these guys out to you too. The first time we heard about them is when they all of a sudden had something to sell, and they came to Mobile Beat and became the expert, and they knew everything, and they've got this book to sell, or they've got this to sell. And not saying any of the people we've talked about so far. These are people but no, they weren't on any radar, and all of a sudden they become the expert on whatever the topic was, and they are only there because they have something to hawk. After they were done, unless they were being paid to be at the show as a support staff or something to that, you've never seen them at a convention. And that, I think, is kind of leads into a lot of some of the issues we have within the industry, is because you've got people who are only putting themselves on a pedestal and not giving, as Ron's been talking about today. They're there to hear.
Well, and I think too is that you have to look at, before you complain about having to buy somebody's product, or not having to buy, but before you talk about somebody selling a product, think about how much free information you've gained from that individual. I mean, how much have they shared with you? I saw people posting, and I've tried really hard not to make this about me, and I don't want to make it about me, but I have to tell you, it impacted me when I saw people posting that I know I've spent at least an hour or two on the phone with, talking about their business because they asked me to, but yet now they're demonstrating a paranoia that somehow people that are selling stuff are just trying to rip us off. That makes no sense. I mean, we look at all the people here's something for the viewers that you may not know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Do you realize that people that go on stage at a Mobile Beat conference don't get paid? Or at a Wedding MBA conference, or in just about any conference. Now, Mobile Beat,
there's some that do and some that don't. It depends on the situation. Let's put it that way.
But Mobile Beat, for the most part, right now, they recently started doing something where they will offer an allowance for travel. They will offer an allowance for hotel, but you're still not getting paid for the work that you do. Do you know that every writer for Disc Jockey News does it because we love John and we love the industry and we love trying to help other people? We're not getting paid. There's nobody. John's holding my paycheck until the day I retire, I think. I'm convinced of it. But I mean, the same thing's true with Mobile Beat magazine. I don't know of any writers for Mobile Beat that get paid. Maybe there are some. don't write for Mobile Beat myself. Pro Mobile DJ online, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. Nobody's getting paid to write for Pro Mobile DJ. I mean, there are tons of people that are willing. You know how long it takes me to write an article? Again, not trying to make it about me, but I am not a writer. And even though I've been writing now for 7 years for John, God, that long. Retirement may be closer than I think. But, in all the years I've been writing for John, I mean, an article, a 1,200 word article is an all-day affair. I mean, I don't sit down and just type out 1,200 words in 20 minutes. That's not who I am. I can't do it. I know there are people that are really, really good at writing. I wish I could be like them. But I mean, so there's, again, going back to, there are so many people in this industry that are just willing to give because they want to see the industry go forward, and they want to help people. And there's no reason for anybody to be paranoid, and certainly don't be calling people out. Lead, again, I go back to lead by example. If people are calling you a leader, then you are, guess what? You're a leader. Then lead by example. You are now, you now have a tremendous responsibility.
So when do you think there is a time where someone in a leadership position should basically say that, wait a second, over here there's a pothole, don't step in this pothole, and point out and name names or
when it happens, when it's a reality, when it's more than just somebody speculating. I mean, it's got to be more than innuendo. Give me something. Show me what happened. How did these people get ripped off? I want to know. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like saying, you can assume that a cheap DJ is going to do a worse job, but until you actually see them do a worse job, how do you really know that? I mean, it just, you don't. I had a bride one time that had like a $300 budget. And I thought for sure because she was a referral, she would have some clue as to what it was I charged. And I would see people that would normally post. I mean, but I didn't do it because I knew better. And actually, I made her cry in the meeting because I was so much more. She felt embarrassed, and I felt embarrassed. And it was a very awkward moment. And it would be very easy for a lot of DJs to say, well, she's only spending $300. Her party's going to suck. I mean, she could have had me. Yeah, it's going to suck. That's the added, that negative crap. But here's the deal. I saw her wedding photos because of my connection through the referral. I saw her wedding photos a few months later. I saw nothing but happy people. I saw people dancing. I saw people having a great time. She made her $300 work for her. You cannot judge people just on judging people. Have some proof. That's the sign of a leader. Prove. Okay, show some proof. If you're going to lead, prove. Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good.
But if I'd seen pictures of her crappy wedding, then I guess I would have had to say everybody's right. But I didn't see that. I saw a bride that had a great day. So.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I've been in that situation too, where I've had brides who have, and sometimes they've been personal friends on Facebook, and they have gone a different direction because of cost.
Right.
And I've never seen one of their weddings that looked like you didn't see a picture of them saying, "Oh, this," they're.
Boy, I wish How many brides have you seen ever post on like, God, man, if only I'd spend another $2,000 on the DJ.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
And if we keep on the way we're going now, they're not going to be spending that because it's all online now, and we'll just pre-program the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, as Drax has talked and shared with the way technology is going.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking the chat room here.
Do we have chatters?
Oh yeah, they're talking. Mike is talking about the use of convention to talk about DJ events as not an accurate. Should be more of a conference instead of a convention
or a learning experience or whatever. Yeah. But I think it. I don't know. I think it's semantics.
Yeah, and Peter's talking about expensive being for some it's unattainable, and others talking about it being worth it. So. Yeah, just chatting back and forth there. So that is looking good.
So they're not chatting to us. They've already tuned us out.
No, they've been kind of talking about that back and forth a little bit. back and forth with some of the things we've talked about. And again,
well, I hope. I mean, like I said, I want to see our industry grow, and I want to see it continue to move forward. And I want to do whatever I can, and I've always made myself available for anybody that has comments or questions. Feel free to reach out to me, even if you disagree with me. I don't expect everybody to agree with me any more than everybody's going to agree with the video or that disagreed with the video. It's just, that's the way of the world. I mean, I would love to be loved by everybody, but I'll just have to accept that my cat is the only one I can sure will always love me.
No, your
no
cat's only waiting for you to that one night when you're not moving fast enough and you become food. That's what cats do. But you said you really like to see the industry come together and to move forward,
right?
And let's back up 5 years and 10 years ago. Okay. How do you feel the industry is for cohesiveness? And again, when we're talking industry, we're really only talking about our little niche world that we kind of relate to, the mobile DJ world and the ones that we're hitting the conventions and different things. Do you think we had more togetherness, more cohesiveness 10 years ago than we have 5 years ago than we have today? Or are we about the same? What are your feelings on that?
I think in 2005 was probably a peak when it came to cohesiveness. I don't know why. I think a lot of it fell on the tail end of Mark's message, and I also think that it fell about the time that Peter was touring. I think that we were at our peak. I mean, and again, I'm only speaking. You asked me a personal question. Yep. I'm only speaking personally. I have no data or anything to back up anything that I'm saying. Just from a personal perspective, I feel like that was a peak for us. I'm not really sure what happened after that, but it just seems like we kind of lost some of that camaraderie, that kumbaya type moments where people were excited about getting together, but it's funny because I noticed the other day, and that this was not a lead-in question, but I did see somebody the other day posting about how they wanted to get a group together in their market. What do you think? We could all and I think that's awesome. I would love to see that happen again. I would love to see little groups of DJs come together and start talking about things that can help their market. When it was Mark, it was about almost immediately. I mean, I was already talking to groups in my area, pulling together a group of DJs to talk about how you could make more money, which was easy for most people to relate to. Not everybody agreed with it. I remember Mark came to Kansas City one time to present Getting What You're Worth. And after the meeting was over, there was a DJ locally that had always been low end and actually had been in trouble with the law a couple of times. But he posted that the only reason that he actually pointed me out, the only reason you want me to raise my fees to $1,200 is so that you can undercut me.
Yes, we've heard that one a few times.
I mean, it's like, wow, that is the most bizarre reasoning I have ever heard in my life. But okay, if that's your reason for not raising your fees. But again, I mean, I think, we have become, and I think I've seen a number of DJs, and I don't want to mention them by name because I'm not really sure what their mindset is, but I've seen a lot of DJs talk about it. Let's leave the topic of money out of the conversation. There's more and more people coming to that way of thinking. And actually, I believe that too. I think that if you want to make more money, then you have to do the things that you need to do. Again, it comes back to you can't blame others for your misfortune. You have to get out there and do the things that you need to do in order to get better, whether it's paying to attend, to go to Mark's workshops or Bill's workshops or whatever to become a better performer, or whether you need to be paying to go to Peter's workshops or Mitch's shops to learn more how to be better at sales. I mean, there are so many ways you can learn now. And that's what I think is probably the most exciting thing for me is that in 2005 you didn't have these learning opportunities. Right. You just didn't have it. You had to go on the word of what somebody else told you. You didn't, even though you may not have known them. I mean, but it wasn't until over the past few years that you've really seen this insurgence of of ways of being able to make your performance better, to make make you more, to understand the technical aspect. I still don't know the difference between an amp and an ohm. But I mean, there are so many different ways of learning now to improve yourself and to make more money. It's just a matter of getting out there and doing it, and not saying, well, is this going to be worth it to me? If you're in doubt as to whether or not the money is going to be worth it, I would say to you, contact the individual that you're going to be working with and see what kind of develop that relationship and either feel confident about spending the money, or maybe some way of if after you come out of it you didn't learn anything, can you get any kind of reimbursement? For my workshop, as an example, I offer 100% money back guarantee. No questions asked. If you just don't, and that's the same thing I do for my couples. And I felt like if I do that for my brides and grooms, then I should do that for the people that invest in my workshop. I don't know that everybody does that, but that's just the way I work. So in a way, I taken the fear away, or not the fear, but the responsibility of money away from them. If they don't feel that they got their money's worth, they can just tell me and I'll give them their money back. Mm-hmm. So did that answer your question? I'm sorry. I have a tendency to go off. I haven't taken my medication today, so sometimes I just wander away.
Yeah, and we'll bring you back. Tori asked the questions why DJ there isn't a professional organization that certifies.
There isn't. Well, oh God. You know what? Peter, if you're online, I'm going to let you address that because I don't even want to go down that road. Yeah, so I'll let Peter and Mike have that one because I'll be honest, I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I'm just going to tell you, nope. Nice. Who was it that posted that? Tori, nice try. I'm not going down that road.
Oh, and it's a legitimate question.
It's a very legitimate question. But to be honest with you, I am not that schooled at that question. But I know Peter is, and I'm guessing Mike is, and I know Drax is. So between those three, should be able to get an answer to your question.
Ron, there's another question here from Sean. How do you find a good local improv training?
How do you find good? Well, for me, it was easy because we have the Kick Comedy Theater, KCIC, Kansas City Improv Company, and they market quite a bit, and it was easy. If you can't, I would do a Google search for your area and see if you have a local improv company. If not, I would contact if you have a junior college nearby or a college, or also you might even check with the high schools because I know some of the high schools offer improv training. And you may say, well, that's high school. You know what? I'm old and I train with people that are in their early 20s. So the age makes no difference when it comes to improv. The only thing that may make a difference is in the language that you use. But that shouldn't be a deterrent. So just check with the schools in your area. And if they don't have anything available, contact KCIC here in Kansas City and say, hey, I want to start a local improv troupe in my, want to start improv classes in my area. What help advice, what can you do? Is there any resources you can give me to help make that happen? Because there's nothing, even without improv training, Sean, you could still do it. You just gotta want it bad enough. So it's fun though. Mm-hmm. Peter and I did improv this Saturday, and it was great. So.
Oh, you've got Peter into that now.
Peter signed up for level 5 workshop now, so he's like becoming. He's going to be on Who's Line before it's all over.
Oh, very nice. That would be fun. That would be fun to see. It'd be fun to see something like that at a convention.
Conference. Well, I did an improv workshop at Arm DJs, which was nothing more than we played games for 2 hours. I had 30 people come to that improv.
I saw it looked like a nice
workshop.
Crowd.
It was awesome. And what was fun was having people come up. Randy Bartlett came to me. He said, man, I'd love to do improv with you sometime. It's too bad that we live, so far away from each other because I would love to do, there's so many DJs I'd love to do improv with. Rob Ferry. I mean, Rob is awesome at improv. There's a number of DJs I'd love to perform with, but it's just because of distance, it's just a little difficult. Maybe next year for our DJs, maybe we could put together an improv performance for like on Monday night. They usually have a band that jams, DJs that jam, which that's pretty cool. But maybe in between sets we could do some improv stuff. So that would be fun. Ooh, there's an idea. I'm going to suggest that. Robbie, if you're watching.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to Robbie. I haven't seen him in the chat room. Peter mentioned, or somebody asked about Toastmasters. Yeah, Toastmasters, it can be a great group to improve speaking skills, improve your thinking off the cuff speaking skills, because that is definitely part of it. The interesting thing with Toastmasters is that they're usually business people. They're meeting at weird times of the day, so you have to find a group that is meeting when you're able to get there, and then to find a group that actually will benefit you. Some of the groups are made up of people from like one office building, and it might not be a great fit for you. And some are, one particular one that I had gone to was made up of doctors. And they were hoping to use their Toastmaster time to improve their presentation for a little bit with their bedside manner, but more importantly, they wanted to be able to present their documents and such when they were going to be going on and moving forward in their profession.
Well, and there's National Speakers Association, much like the ADJA has local chapters as well. But part of the problem with the ADJA, with NSA, is that somebody just sent me a message that said, "Take your meds."
Tell Michael you're not going to.
Well, no. Actually, it was Patrick. So if anybody needs to take their meds, Patrick. I love Patrick Durham, man. He cracks me up.
I was guessing it was Michael Durham. So
no, it was his dad. But yeah, NSA, National Speakers Association. Here in Kansas City, we have a local chapter, but unfortunately, they only meet on Saturdays, which makes it really tough for a wedding DJ to participate in a lot of their stuff. But you know what? I would. Whatever you can do, if you can get involved in summer stock theater, if you can get in community theater, anything that you can do that will stretch your creativity and allow you to take risks that maybe you've never taken before, do it. I mean, you'd be amazed at how much that's going to help you in the future. And how much better it will make your performance, even if it's not related to DJing, especially like improv. I've talked a lot about improv. I think improv has really helped me both as a public speaker and as a DJ. It makes you more aware of being in the moment. What other questions we got?
They're talking about training and such, the need of training, and they've asked some questions about that. Some performance training is really what they're discussing, because as Peter made the statement that you may not need performance training, but those who are making the DJ profession and doing well and being successful at it and are doing it at a higher level, and I'm paraphrasing, basically, are people who have taken their profession seriously and have gotten performance training. I pretty much all the people we mentioned before.
Not every actor or actress was found at the soda fountain at the Woolworth store. And they had training.
They had training at some point, even if their training was something they were taking in New York, what have you, and they were hand-to-mouthing it for a number of years and working at right. There was training.
And I think that's true in any profession. If you want to be better at your profession, you train. If you want to be a better salesperson, you train. If you want to be, It's in our industry. I mean, to make more money doesn't necessarily mean you have to offer more stuff. It just means that you need it. And a lot of times, for me especially, it was just a matter of finding a better way to convey my value. It doesn't mean I have to offer up light. I don't offer up lighting. I don't offer photo booths. I don't offer any of that. My fee is all inclusive. So it's just a matter of how do you convey your value. And if you don't know how to do that, you're probably hurting yourself. You probably want to find somebody that can help you with that, whether it's Peter or somebody else that understands that process. Because reading a book, what I discovered way back when is that reading books on sales is not nearly, as much as as smart as Jeffrey Gitomer is and his books are, and I'm looking at my books over there. Can you see them over there?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, they're right.
Oh, you got that one that's turned. Can you change that one? It's just, it needs to be fixed.
Yeah, but I mean, as smart as Jeffrey Gitomer is, I mean, the reading his book and actually doing it or two different things, two different worlds. Having a coach that would stand behind you at a sales presentation and go, and that's funny because I want to just briefly, I mean, a lot of us have spoken about, Larry Williams did a presentation at Armed DJs about shadowing and how he had somebody shadow him and the comments that were left and all, and how important shadowing is for performance. And I couldn't agree more, but I also had somebody shadow me at a sales presentation once because, tell me what I'm doing wrong here.
Yes.
So if you can find a way to slip somebody into a sales presentation, if you just don't feel confident that you're getting what you're worth, that maybe there's another way, then have somebody shadow you at a sales presentation as well.
Yeah.
Because that was extremely helpful to me, especially when they said, "Why didn't you shut up and let them buy?"
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because I talk a lot.
I want to talk.
I want to talk.
There's a stage. I mean, they're watching me and they're listening. There's a stage.
Yeah.
We need to wrap up. Holy cats! We've kind of gone
really?
over our hour.
Oh wow, we've like broken. Wow, have we broken a record here, John?
Well, this is one of our longer ones. Yeah, we usually want to make sure they wrap up.
Can I offer something real quick?
Yeah,
because folks, I am not trying to sell you anything. Okay, I want to give you something actually. I have a presentation called Exceeding Expectations. Right there. I'm sorry. It's called The Client Experience Demystified. And it talks about what the client experience is and how valuable and important this is to you. This is yours free. If you go to ronruth.com and just sign up for my newsletter, which is also free, and you'll get free information, I will send you one of these. So you sign up, and then I'll send you an email to get your mailing address, and then I will send this to you. No cost, no obligation, no nothing. After you get it, you can unsubscribe to my newsletter if that's what you choose to do. But I have a bunch of these left over from another run, and if you would like one, again, ronruth.com. Sign up for the newsletter, subscribe, and I will send you the Client Experience Demystified, your inspirational, imaginative, and creative guide to exceeding expectations in extraordinary ways. So there you go. That's free. Free. I
just put that link in the chat.
Thank you.
17 times. Unfortunately, I didn't realize the first couple of times it wasn't a live link. My bad.
Well, John, this has been a lot of fun. I hope this actually has been very enjoyable, and I want to leave on a positive note. I'm not really sure what more to say other than, man, I love this industry. If I didn't love this industry, I wouldn't be here. Most all of us quit working for the man so that we could run our own business. And surely we would not be here if we were unhappy, especially if we were unhappy working for someone else before. So be happy. Find the positive things in what everybody's doing around you and celebrate those positive things. Celebrate the positive things that you do. As Big Daddy would say, God, I love Big Daddy. Smile as loud as you can, man. Or at the end of every Scott Favor post, it's smile. I mean, man, there's just too much other bad stuff going on in the world right now for us to drag it into what it is that we do. So be happy and reach out to your friends and say, hey, how can we help each other? Let's do something fun together. So There you go.
Very good. Thank you, Ron. We will
Thank you.
Wrapping things up. Thank you guys for watching. Tonight we kick off with the mini sessions. We will be going live with those at 8 o'clock Eastern. If we go from 8 to 10 Eastern tonight, and then we will have our regular Monday night show, Q&A show at 10 o'clock. So you'll be able to find, if you're an insider, you'll get the links a little bit later today. And if you're not, you'll find the 10 o'clock link, we'll go live.
Everybody should be an insider.
Well, you would think so, but
I'm an insider.
We quit serving chicken wings.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, they just, they get greasy and then you get it all over the monitor. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We will be with you later today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.